Iron Valiant EX has always been incredible at dealing with those low HP Pokemon. Its Tachyon Bits ability lets you place 2 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon in any way you like. However, this deck always struggled with hitting those high damage numbers. Until now. Coming off of an insanely hot win streak at LAIC, Iron Valiant has found its perfect partner in Entei V. With the Burning Rondo attack, it can do a lot of damage really easily, and it has an even higher HP to boot. We're going to hop into the deck list right now, and I'm going to prove to you just why Entei V is the perfect partner for Iron Valiant. What's going on, everybody? Hitmonchan here, back again with another Pokemon trading card game online deck tech. Today we're taking a look at Iron Valiant and Entei in the Pokemon trading card game live. But before we get into the video, I just want to give a huge shout out to the sponsor, PTCGO Store. If you need codes, you know where to go. Head on over to ptcgostore.com and use code HITMON to get 5% off your order. You get a good product for a good price, and you help out the channel as well. So again, thank you so much to the sponsor, and thanks so much to you for supporting the channel. And now we're gonna hop right into the deck list. Iron Valiant and Entei really shouldn't work well together on paper, but it actually is such an insane combo for quite a few reasons. Firstly, we already know what Iron Valiant does. The Tachyon Bits ability lets you place 2 damage counters on any of your opponent's Pokemon whenever you move Iron Valiant into the active spot. And this, combos really well with Medicham's Yoga Loop. For a single double turbo energy, you can Yoga Loop, putting 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon, and if they get knocked out, you can then take an additional turn after that. But the deck has always struggled in one aspect, and that's dealing a high amount of damage. And Entei V is the card that comes through and fixes it. It's for a number of reasons. Firstly, Iron Valiant has 220 HP, which a lot of decks can easily hit, but 230 HP on Entei is a much more difficult number. Secondly, its fleet-footed ability allows you to draw extra cards, making your deck just more consistent overall. Thirdly, Burning Rondo is an incredible attack. For only 1 fire and 1 colorless, you can do 20 damage plus 20 more for each benched Pokemon in play. You're always going to have a full bench, and though your opponent may not, using a bunch of switch cards and Tachyon Bits can help you ramp Entei's damage up even higher. On top of that, we have Squawkabilly to turbo through our deck, and Radiant Charizard also helps this deck come together in the Combustion Blast attack. For 250 damage, you only need 1 fire energy at the end of the game to use it, and you can basically KO anything using a single prizer, which is super strong. So there's a couple of cards in here, and we're going to go through how they all synergize together. For Iron Valiant, for Entei, 1 Squawkabilly, 1 Radiant Charizard, 1 Medicham V, those are all of our Pokemon, and the glue is really in the trainers. Now obviously we have 4 Switch Cart, 4 Rope, and 4 Switch in order to switch our Iron Valiants in and out and use those Tachyon Bits effectively. We've also got 4 Battle VIP Pass, as well as 3 Nest Ball and 2 Techno Radar to help us search our Pokemon. Techno Radar lets you discard a card from your hand and search for 2 future Pokemon, and this is particularly good when you combine it with our Fire Energies and Magma Basin. This is like the key card that helps Entei attack. It helps Radiant Charizard attack, it accelerates your energy, and also bumps Path to the Peak, which is really deadly for this deck. You can attach a Fire Energy from your discard pile to one of your benched Fire Pokemon, and then you put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. But thanks to Switch Cart, we can heal that damage off, making Entei sit at a comfortable 230, which decks like Miraidon, decks like Lugia V-Star, a bunch of decks can struggle to KO consistently over and over again. Now we've also got 2 Future Booster Energy to give our Iron Valiants free retreat, as well as a Lost Vacuum to get rid of any paths or pesky Bravery Charms, 2 Forest Seal Stone to find whatever we want, and then we have the Earthen Vessel to help us discard Fire Energy as well as find them. For our supporter counts, we're rocking 4 Research just to draw through our deck, as well as 2 Colress and 2 Boss's Orders. Originally, I've been on 3 Colress and 1 Boss, but I've changed it up, so we're going to see how it goes. In terms of energy, we're rocking with 6 Fire, we got 2 Double Turbo, and 2 Jet Energy, which will also act as another switching option, because when we attach it, we can move our Pokemon right up into the active spot. I'm super hyped about this deck. I've been going on crazy win streaks with it, so we're going to hop into some games and see if we can get some dubs with Entei Iron Valiant. We get to a coin flip here. Tails never fails. That's what I always say. And it's going to be Tails, so we're going to get to choose to go second. We do not want to be going first over here because we want to be able to get that turn 1 Yoga Loop, get that turn 1 advantage through just, drawing through like half our deck thanks to Professor's research. So we don't have any basics. We're going to see what our opponent is going to play here. And then you need to look at our hand, which this could be can really indicate what we're playing. So they could get an advantage based on that. But we only take 1 mulligan, and this is an incredible second hand as well. So I do want to start the Squawk, I think. Because we are going second. There's no possibility of the Squawkabilly getting donked by like Miraidon or anything. So we're going to see what exactly we are up against. It is going to be Chen Pao. So this is actually a very good matchup for us. We have the Medicham, we have the Iron Valiant, we have the technology to get that turn 1 Yoga Loop. They're going to get Frigibacks, they're going to get Bidoof down. Right off the bat, they have that VIP. They have a second VIP as well. So you're going to be able to get their, other Frigibacks, and they are going to be able to get the Gradient Greninja. They can Shivery Chill, they can draw some cards. They got everything they need here. So this is definitely going to be a match of the ages. I'm kind of curious, like, how this is going to go. I do think we got to get both those Frigibacks out ASAP. It is a bit of a challenge to do so, though. They're going to attach, and then they're going to pass. So I think the way that I want to do this is, obviously, we're going to start with the VIP, make sure we have our lads. We have Radiant Charizard, we have Entei, we have our Valiants. Okay, so this is tough. Like, this is a very tough scenario to be in, because in order to successfully get rid of this Frigibacks, we need to switch Valiant 3 times and then use Medicham. So I think we'll start by getting double Valiant. Yeah, we'll start with double Valiant. We have Medicham, we have Valiant, we have Basin. Can attach a future booster to this one. I'll switch into, I think I'll switch into this one just to be safe in case we can't get the rest of the damage on that Frigibacks. Start with this, and then we're gonna go for a nice Squawk and Seize. We do have access to a supporter as well, as long as we can find one. We do find one, which is really good. We are gonna have to sacrifice a Radiant Zard though, which I'm not a super fan of. We find the double turbo, which is really neat. So we can attach that double turbo. We can start by retreating to this Valiant here. Then we get to do 20 on the Frigibacks. And then we can Switch Cart. The thing is I like having the Chen Pao in the active because we can potentially KO it, but we might be able to find boss as well. So I think what I want to do is I'll Switch Cart into this Iron Valiant here, put another 20 on the other Frigibacks. Then I'll go for the Escape Rope. In this Escape Rope, they're obviously going to bring up the Frigibacks. It's getting Yoga Looped. Not really a surprise to me, but I do think it's important we research here, and also important that we establish our, an Entei, because I think it's just, we need to be able to do damage to whatever else after. We do get our Entei, which is really, really good. So we can drop that Entei. I should have used VIP, but that's fine. We can do this, and no other reason to use Techno Radar just yet. So for now, we're going to start with the Yoga Loop. We're in a pretty decent spot here. We can loop this Frigibacks, then we need to switch 3 times, and then we can KO their other Frigibacks, and then things are going to be a lot harder for them. They're going to leave with the Chen Pao, and we get Vacuum, which isn't great for us. Right now, we have a total of 2 switching outs, but we need 3. So I think the plan is just going to be start with the Colress here. We get this. Do I want Boss necessarily? I think I want the Future Booster. I don't need the other double turbo for sure. So do I want the Boss or do I want the Fire? The Fire is probably the... I don't know. Because we can recycle the Fires, I think Boss is probably better just to have. So from here, what I want to do is, like, I can... Here, so well, this is what I think the best play is. Will Techno Radar get rid of the Fire so we can use Magma Basin? I will go for a Jet Energy on the first Valiant, then Switch Cart to the second. I can retreat to the third, hopefully find a switching out, and then attack with Entei. That's my goal. So that's what I want to do. I'll start with an Jet Energy onto this Valiant. Again, this Frigibacks is very important to KO. So we'll do 20 there. We can Switch Cart into this Valiant. It doesn't really matter like exactly which Valiant it is because we have the Future Booster energy in hand for the retreat. Again, very important that we get rid of this Frigibacks here. Plus, they can't KO an Iron Valiant in the active spot, so even if we don't get an attack, it's not the worst thing ever. We will get to draw our prize card, and it's a research, so for next turn that is a-okay. And I do think I want to go for a Magma Basin here. And we hit that Magma Basin, at least getting prepared in case they do bump it, and from there, we're gonna have to pass, but this is actually a really like fine spot to be in. This is a completely okay spot because what we can do is they need like a counter catcher or a boss or something to be able to continue. What's it called? They'll Pokestop. Let's see what they can get. We're down only 1 Magma Basin. They're gonna grab Earthen Vessel, but get rid of Frigibax and Irida. That's really bad for them here. We're gonna see, like, what's happening here. We're gonna see they have an Irida in hand, but they did ditch their last Frigibax, so they're gonna need to find a Rod and have a Ball Search in order to get this Frigibax out. That's interesting for them. I don't know if they'll be able to get 2 Frigibax into play here, because then we can just Yoga Loop the other one. As long as we have the appropriate switching cards, they're gonna get all their Frigibax out. I would have liked to see a Shivery Chill coming from them first before they do the counter catcher, so they're gonna be able to KO our Entei. Again, that's completely fine. Like, that's not anything it's extraordinary, especially if they don't put a Frigibax into play, because then what we can do is literally just get a knockout on this Chien-Pao with our Entei that we have right here, and then we should be good to go. So they're gonna go for the Hail Blade. No Frigibax comes down, which means they have to discard both energy here, and they don't have an attack following this up. So I think we should be in a decent spot. We can actually Yoga Loop the Bidoof and then put damage on this Chien-Pao. So we'll start with this Iron Valiant, see what our top deck is, because that I think is important. It's a Fire Energy. Now, I don't necessarily want to give up the boss here. I'd rather keep it. I do need to find a basin though, or a couple switches. So we're gonna start with Colress. Colress is gonna get us literally everything we need. Okay. Double Rope could be interesting here. I think Double Rope is probably better to grab than just the switch. So we'll grab all of these. This is like insanely solid hand here. Right now, this Entei is doing 120, 140, 160, 180. It's going to be doing 160, so we need 3 switches to KO Chien-Pao. So this is, I think, how I want to play things. I don't want to risk burning any resources on the stop. So we're going to start with just the Magma Basin. Clean, simple, easy. Get damage onto that Entei, but also getting an energy so we can attach for turn there. Start by going for a retreat into Valiant. We're going to put 2 damage counters on that Bidoof. Then we can, rope into our other Valiant. They're obviously bringing up the Bidoof, right? We're going to bring up the other Chien-Pao. Okay, so go into this Valiant, grab 2 damage counters, and throw those right onto the Bidoof. Then we can rope again, and this rope is going to net us the Yoga Loop. So sure, you want to bring up that Bidoof, that's fine. We can Yoga Loop right here, right now. Or say don't want to bring up the Bidoof, that's okay. We'll Yoga Loop, we'll hit that Bidoof, we'll take the knockout, and we'll get a prize card here. See what exactly we're working with. It's a Nest Ball, which isn't like necessary, but nevertheless good to have. Now, we get another Entei, and I don't necessarily want to lose another Entei here. So I think my play might just be boss KO the Greninja. I think that's actually kind of fine to do. We did discard, I think, we didn't even discard our other double turbo, so we still have options here. Okay, cool. So I'll just retreat, go into this Entei. We're doing 160, we're completely A-okay. I do want to fleet-footed here. We get Forest Seal Stone, which is interesting, but we don't need it right now. I don't see a KO happening here. I think it's safe to throw it on the Entei. We can boss up the Greninja, and then we can Burning Rondo, KO it for 160. Now, basically, we're doing 140 max damage with this Entei here. But after 3 Valiant switches, that is still not going to be enough. But they would need to bench another Pokemon if they were wanting to, you know, continue the game in an effective manner. There's no way they can take multi-prizes. They have a Nest Ball. So basically, as long as we find our switching outs, we have game. We have a lot of switch outs in the deck still. We're down 5. Hold on. We are down 5, 6, I think 7, 8 switches. We're down 7 switching cards. Okay. 7 switching cards. Oh, we lost zone the other DTE. That's what it was. We're down 7 switching cards, and we do play 12. If we're assuming like the last 2 are prize, we have 3 switching cards, which is still enough. They do just have that Frigibax down. So I think how I want to start this is I do want to start with a fleet-footed here. See what exactly we drop into. It's another Entei V. Oh my gosh, I don't like getting those Entei Vs. I don't like them hitting the discard pile. I could start Alchemy here and grab the other boss, but I don't remember if it's in deck. Just boss the Frigibax. Then if they KO the Entei, that's fine, because we just have another turn, right? I could do that. This is super risky. Like, if I research away the other Entei, that's so bad, which I don't think I can afford to do it. So I think I will just start Alchemy here. And we do have the other boss, thankfully. We have 4 switching outs in deck as well as 1 basin. So I think grabbing boss is fine. Yeah, man, that would feel really bad to get rid of both those Enteis here. So we have boss. We also have 2 more energies. So what I think I want to do here is we'll grab that Frigibax. That Frigibax is mine, and it's going to get KO'd. Energy-wise, they got 5 in the discard, but it's very easy for them to fish those back out. And now what I can do, I think I'll vacuum away the Pokestop. I don't want to give them access to it. So that's gone. They are down, I think, just 2 Pokestop, which is fine. I could attach this energy to Iron Valiant, or sorry, to Medicham to grant ourselves another Yoga Loop, but I don't ever see it happening. So I'll save it. We'll go for the Burning Rondo on Entei, and we take a KO on that Frigibax. Now, if they put another single prize little Pokemon into play, we get a basin off the prizes, which is really good. But if they put another single prize Pokemon into play, we just switch, do our thing. They might just opt to go for multi-attaches on Chien-Pao and pull out the win. I can see that happening. They get a Rare Candy, they get a Rope, and they discard their Bidoof. They do have other Frigibax in their deck that they can use. Don't know if they would want to use them, though. I'm expecting this Entei to get knocked out. They have no further way to accelerate energy, which just basically gives us 2 turns to, to just knock out the Chien-Pao. I know they have the Rope, so they could switch. We, thankfully, I think we're down our Rope, aren't we? We're down our Rope, and we're down 2 boss. Okay, so start with the Valiant. We gotta switch. Okay, what are we at? We're down 1 Rope. We're down all of our ropes. That is terrible. That is actually really bad. So to start, we'll go for the Nest Ball. Don't have anything. This is where Radzard is really, really strong because we could just win the game from Radzard. We do have a bunch of switching cards. I think how I want to play out the rest of this game here is I'll go into Entei, right? I think I can afford to Pokestop here. Just grab as many switches as possible. That's pretty good. I don't want to I don't want to outplay myself, because I think what the strategy is we pile the damage onto the benched Chien-Pao and smack the active one, because then if they rope into the other Chien-Pao, we just pile more damage on and win. I think that's my goal here. So I'll start with going for the Magma Basin. We're doing 100, 120, we're doing 140. So if we're able to put a bunch of damage on the bench Chien-Pao and hit the active one, no matter if they decide to rope or not, we can win the game. That's kind of my goal here. So we'll go for the attachment. I think we'll Earthen Vessel anyway. How many energies do we have? We just have 1, but I wouldn't mind drawing into it, to be completely honest with you. So I might just leave it. Yeah, I think we'll leave that there. Start by going for a retreat into this Iron Valiant. And we'll put 2, because right now we can do 2, 4, 6 damage. We're doing 100, 120, 140. We're like 10 damage short of KOing this Chien-Pao. However, we can just pile it onto the active, hit. If they switch, we just retreat. Never mind. What am I saying? That's a way better plan. Okay, we'll go back into this Iron Valiant. Put 20 more on the active Pokemon. This guy cannot retreat, but I think we'd probably rather just go into the Entei just to be safe and get the guaranteed hit, because then we just need 2 switches and then we can just use the double switch anyway. So we'll go into Entei and then we'll go for the big research here. So we get our switching cards that we need. I don't necessarily want a fleet-footed. 140 off of the Burning Rondo here just means we need 2 switches, which we have in hand. So, which honestly I could play the switch just to thin it, right? Actually, I could even fleet-foot it as well. There's no harm in fleet-footing. I could just play that switching card. Oh, actually, no, I would need double switch. Never mind. Okay, so we're gonna Burning Rondo 140. We do 140 damage. We just need to switch twice and we win the game here, unless they play something wacky like Professor Turo, which I don't expect off of a Chien-Pao deck. But again, you do not ever know what to expect here. There's a heavy ball coming out from my opponent. Nothing gets grabbed there. They have the Nest Ball again. At this point, there's no point in not benching stuff. They have Frigibax. I'm expecting an Iono here fully. They're going to go for the Escape Rope. Again, that's completely okay. I can bring Valiant up. It has the free retreat. They're going into the other Chen Pao. I don't see a way they can even use like Collapsed Stadium or anything like that. If they're attaching, it's probably going to be a pass here from my opponent, and hopefully it is, and then we can just close out the game. They're going for an Ultra Ball, and this Ultra Ball is an interesting one. They're getting rid of a Chen Pao, they're getting rid of an Earthen Vessel, another Frigibax. They're just boosting our damage, honestly. So I don't really mind that. There's a Pokestop. They can hit that Pokestop, and they can get rid of Bibarel and 2 Iridas. All Iridas down, Counter Catcher down. They do have Iono as their last supporter, or it's Boss. Boss is interesting, bringing up the Entei. Okay, and they're gonna pass, which does guarantee us the win, because all we need to do is we need to switch into Iron Valiant. We can put 20 on that, what's it called? That's Chen Pao, and then we can retreat into this Iron Valiant, put another 20 on the Chen Pao, and then that is going to be GG's, my friend. Good game. You are out of here. Taking down Chen Pao, one of the scariest decks in the format to face right now. We get to call a coin flip. Tails never fails is what I always say, and with this deck, you generally do want to be going second, and I'm going to tell you why for a few reasons. I know a lot of people would like to go first with this one because you can donk your opponent before they even get to play the game. Awesome, that's cool. However, if you have a kind of subpar hand, and having access to that supporter card can make the entire difference. Plus, it might be hard for your opponent to get set up on turn 1 if they are a tad bit inconsistent. Now here, look at this hand, right? We don't play any heavy ball in this deck. So if we were to prize, looks like we're going up against Chen Pao, which is good to note. If we were to prize ourselves our Squawkabilly or our Medicham, we would have a really middling start to the game. Specifically, if we prized our Squawkabilly, because then we wouldn't be able to draw any more cards. However, thanks to the fact that we are going second, we can research his hand away after we're done with all our basic search, and then just go for boom, 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 Yoga Loop that Frigibax on turn 1. That's our goal right now. Our opponent is going to go for the VIP, then they're going to concealed cards. I'm not sure exactly what they're trying to find here because of the fact they concealed cards before they did their Shivery Chill. That's just a general sequencing thing, but maybe they just want a bunch of energy in their hand. And now here, we're going to see what exactly we can do. If they get their second Frigibax out, if they don't, we're going to be in a really good spot. Even if they do, it is prime time for a Yoga Loop to come out, because we can just Yoga Loop the first Frigibax, get rid of the second one, or just boss KO it. But no, they're opting to go for the Bidoof. Maybe they think we're playing Charizard. We did not reveal our hand with the mulligan. Gonna do Frigibax and gonna be Bidoof. No attachment for turn, and that is going to be their turn. So we're gonna start with the VIP. We have Medicham, we have Squawk, we have Iron Valiant. We are good to go. So we're gonna start by grabbing these 2 Valiants. I'm actually going to go back in with this VIP and check. I do want to get Squawk, I want to get Medicham, but I also want to make sure that we have our double turbo energies. We have both of them, so we're going to be okay. And we are missing a few switch cards in the prizes as well, and I think that's kind of it. It's not too shabby over here. We got basically everything we need, and we've also prized a Jet Energy, so we're going to stick those 2 guys on the bench. And now, I would like to get, you know, another Pokemon down, such as another, I think another Valiant is probably good, because then we can just switch K with a Bidoof as well. And yeah, I'm gonna have to unfortunately ditch the Radiant Charizard, but that's fine. I don't anticipate us needing it like an excessive amount, so we're gonna put those booster energy down, and then we're going to go for a research here. We do get quite a few good cards. We can start with the Magma Basin. We do want this double turbo on the Medicham, and we do have the Yoga Loop like immediately, so that's really, really solid. I want to start with the Fleet-Footed. We attach for that Medicham. Get another Entei, which isn't exactly what we wanted to see, but I want to start by going for the Escape Rope. I want to see what my opponent is going to put into the active spot. It's going to determine how I play out the next turn. Again, I might not even Squawk and Seize here. I might actually just opt to keep the hand, then Colress, so I can save this Entei. But for now, we're going to start by going into Valiant number 1 here. We can go to this Valiant. We'll put 2, obviously, onto the Frigibax. We will Switch Cart into our other Valiant here, and we'll put another 2 onto this Frigibax. Now, do I want to lose this Entei with a Squawk and Seize? I don't know. Oh, they're just going to concede right away. Okay, yeah, they knew that we had it. It was just as simple as that. When you go up against Chen Pao and they can't do anything against you in your following turns, it just becomes an easy win. We get to call a coin flip. Tails never fails is what I always say. We're going to flip that coin, and it's going to flip heads, but our opponent's going to have to choose if they want to go first or second. Most of the time, they are going to want to go first, depending on what they're playing, but there's a lot of going second decks right now, so we're going to see exactly what they decide to do. Obviously, you do want to go first, or sorry, you don't want to go first with this deck. You want to be going second just so you can consistently get a lot of switching and a Yoga Loop play. This is an okay hand. It really does depend on what we have prized here and what our opponent is playing. It looks like they are playing switch cards as Lightning Energy. I actually don't know what this is. This could be Miraidon. It's got the booster energy, which I haven't seen in Miraidon. But we got a Techno Radar, which is actually also really solid. And there's an Iron Valiant. It looks to be some sort of future box. The Lightning Energy, obviously, for Iron Hands. But what exactly is this deck? Like, what is going on here? They have a VIP. They got a strong start as well. I don't think they know which version of Valiant we're playing. Oh, it's the Jolteon. Okay, that makes sense. Iron Valiant, Jolteon. Makes sense. They got an insanely strong start here, getting 2 Valiants, 2 Jolteons, and they also are going to be able to get their Squawkabilly and another Jolteon, essentially giving them the perfect board setup. Don't think you really need Medicham in this matchup. I am not going to prioritize Medicham in this matchup. They get the, okay, yeah, they get the Basculin too. Basculin is really cool because it lets them do 30 plus 10 for each damage counter on the opponent's active. So this Basculin can attack for a single Rapid Strike energy, and it can also, what's it called? It can one-hit KO our Entei's pretty simply because we're weak to water. So it's not good for us. They did discard a Rapid Strike energy though, meaning they only have access to 1 or 2 more is usually what our opponents will be, you know, what I think this deck plays. The Elemental Badge lets Jolteon attack for a single Lightning Energy, and now it is going to be our turn. So we have a couple ways that we can go about this here. I obviously want to start by going for the Nest Ball. We only have 2 Valiant. We've prized the Valiant, we've prized our Radiant Charizard, and we've prized an Entei. But that means we haven't prized any switching cards. We've also prized a Force Seal Stone and a Magma Basin, and we have one in hand. And we also prized the Jet. Okay, so that's our prizes accounted for. Off this Nest Ball, I do want to grab a Squawkabilly. And then we have the VIP. It's possible to get a Yoga Loop on this Basculin here, because we can grab Medicham, Entei, Iron Valiant. Oh no, yeah, no, we can do it. It's really hard to get that Yoga Loop though, and I don't really think it's worth it. So, like, I think we'll just start targeting down the Basculin. So I don't really want to prioritize Medicham here. I'd rather grab Entei and Valiant. And then what we can do is we can Techno Radar, get rid of this Colress, and then we can grab... Oh, I should have grabbed another Entei. I'm kind of silly for that. I forgot. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll bench or put the Basin in play, and then we'll just research the hand away. We do get another VIP, which is pretty solid. So we can VIP and grab ourselves. I think I do want the other Entei here. We did not put a Fire Energy in the discard, which could be a bit tough. So the way I want to play this hand, I think, is I want to start with a Jet Energy into the Entei. And I want to use, what's it called, Fleet-Footed, try and find a Fire Energy if I can. I found another rope, which isn't spectacular, but having 2 ropes is pretty good because what it lets me do is it lets me rope first. And through roping, they're obviously going to put the Basculin into play. Like, I feel like that's kind of a no-brainer for them to do. Actually, I'm going to put Jolteon. Okay, so I'll start by going into this Valiant here. I can put 2 damage counters anywhere. I think I just want to target down the Basculin. Then what I can do is I can switch into this Iron Valiant, and I can put another 2 on the Basculin. Then I'll throw the booster energy here. Don't want to switch just yet. I do have a rope, but I would rather just squawk and seize. Hopefully I find a way to discard a Fire Energy and a Fire Energy. I don't find a way to discard it, but I do find it. And what I could do here is retreat into this Valiant, and I can put 20 on this Basculin. Then I can actually Switch Cart the damage away. If I find a way to discard this energy off of the Fleet-Footed, we can mount an attack this turn. We find the Techno Radar, so actually super worth it because we can just Techno Radar that away. We don't mind not grabbing anything because now we can actually Magma Basin here. Put 2 damage counters on that Entei, and then we can go for a switch again into the active spot, and boom, 220 Burning Rondo, turn 1. Knocking out that Jolteon, and we get to take 2 prizes. Now, we're in a pretty solid spot. I don't think we've discarded both double turbos, so we can use Basculin here to obviously we're going to be taking a prize card. We could just, you know, utilize our Iron Valiants. We could also be oh, they have the Switch Cart. Okay, that kind of sucks. However, we can still knock it out with Valiant. We do just need like 3 Valiants to move around. They are going to target down our Entei, and they can go for a Jolteon play. They do put the Town Store in play, though, which is actually not bad for us because we can just go for a, what's it called? We could just grab a Forest Seal Stone. They are going to Iono us, which I would not prefer, obviously. But we do get Basin, which is what we need. We have our Town Store to get us our Forest Seal, so that's all well and good. Again, they are always going to be full benching here, so that's pretty solid for us because it is going to allow us to just do maximum damage pretty simply. And they're going to scoop. I guess they didn't find what they needed to find. We were going to win that game anyway, I think. I think we is pretty one-sided on our side of the field, so I'm happy with our results. So what do you all think of my Entei Iron Valiant deck? This deck is incredibly fun to play, and it's really strong right now. It has good matchups all across the board. It's decent into decks like, you know, obviously your Chenpaos, your Gardevoirs, your Lost Boxes, like your Garatinas. It's decent into all those decks. It's also pretty solid into things like Mew, as long as you're taking the first knockout, and Roaring Moon and Miraidon. Those are a little more coin flippy and kind of who draws better kind of thing. And it's really, really tough matchup is Lugia, but again, Entei has 230 HP, which Lugia V-Star can't hit, and if you can just do some couple of switching, you can go up with Radiant Charizard, you can do a bunch of shenanigans, and is a playable matchup, even though it's pretty tough. This deck is really strong. It's just, it's super strong, super fun. I do like 2 boss in here. You know, my friend Luigi was the one that suggested double boss in this, and I was hesitant at first, but credit where credit is due, it is pretty good. But other than that, the deck just feels incredible to play. So I want to say thank you all so much for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed, and comment down below, what do you think of Chenpao, Iron, Valiant? What do you like, what do you dislike, what you keep, what you change? And subscribe to the channel because I post multiple Pokemon trading card game videos every single week. And with all said and done, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Hitmonchanting out.